Could we go to the Leader of the Third Party?
Yes, please.
Mr. Speaker, the Premier has paid lip service to supporting Kinder Morgan pipeline. The problem is the BC NDP party, which is the Premier's party, will be in a position to interfere with the construction. The federal NDP, which is the Premier's party, are opposed to Trans Mountain.
That's right.
The Premier is outnumbered in the family. No wonder her minister is running away from unemployed engineers today.
Whoa.
To the Premier, it is time for you to stand up for Alberta. Will you ask your party, the Alberta party, your party, to divorce yourselves from the national and BC so that you can actually support Albertans? Because right now, most of your family doesn't.
The Honourable Premier.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Let me begin, of course, by correcting the record because, of course, the Minister of Energy did meet with a number of the people who are here today in March, and the Minister of Economic Development will be meeting with more of them. So, but to the member's question, let me just say this. I don't believe that there is a government in the country that has done more work to get the Kinder Morgan project approved, Mr. Speaker, than ours. Moreover, the people that we have lobbied are the people who actually have the authority to make the decision, Mr. Speaker. The federal government. And when the federal government approved the Kinder Morgan project, they did so on the basis of the work that this government had done.
Thank you, Honourable Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Premier finally admitted that the Prime Minister who treats Alberta like a doormat, in this case, approved the pipelines. She tries to take credit when the news is good and runs like a rabbit when trouble rears its head. Unlike her minister running from hundreds of unemployed engineers today, yes, the Minister of Post-Secondary, who are looking for work. Premier continues to employ Sephora Berman to attack Alberta's interest with the BC wing of her party. Premier, when will you match your actions with some support by firing Berman and have your ministers talk to unemployed?
The Honourable Premier.
Well, you know, Mr. Speaker, I appreciate the members opposite believe that question period is all about theatre, but I really would wish that they just listen to the answers a little bit, because as I've said already, Mr. Speaker, the Minister of Energy has already met with some of these workers, and the Minister of Labour and the Minister of Economic Development will be doing so again, because so I think that part of the question has been answered twice now. In addition, Mr. Speaker, as I've already indicated, what our government did to get the approval of the pipeline from the federal government was develop a climate leadership plan which included an emissions cap. And the work on that must be done and it must be finished, and we will make sure.
Thank you, Honourable Premier. Second supplemental.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Premier continues to appease Alberta's enemies. She's invited activists onto the oil sands advisory panel. She's burdened Alberta with job-killing carbon tax. She sacrifices whole towns where coal jobs are to make her fancy friends in France happy. And now she refuses to divorce herself from the National and British Columbia NDP parties who cheerlead against Alberta every single day.
That's right.
She's breaking the backs of Alberta families.
That's right.
To the Premier, will you finally admit your policy of appeasing Alberta's enemies is not working and actually stand up for Albertans?
The Honourable Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am very proud of our government's record with respect to standing up for Albertans on a whole range of issues, but also including this pipeline, Mr. Speaker. We worked to get a plan in place that would ensure that the federal government could move forward with approving this pipeline. And that decision stands, Mr. Speaker. And I know the members opposite want to join together with their little friends over there and hope gleefully for the potential failure of the pipeline for their own political interests. And quite frankly, Mr. Speaker, it is utterly shameful, and unemployed Albertans should be watching the politics that these folks are playing